Hey there, day 227 of life according to YoBo. No mess, no stress, no BS, but woo, we in a series where we talking about some mess. The life and death of Mattie, Bertha, Canton, Bowie. I'm only sharing this story because there's so many lessons that we can learn from this. YoBo Productions, YouTube, Facebook, that's where you find YoBo. And when we finished yesterday's message, day 226, I was saying, anytime you make an emotional decision, I promise you, it's going to be the wrong decision. You might as well put an emotional decision in the same category with the stupid decision. If you want to do something stupid, be led by your emotions. Okay, let's look at my grandmother. Let's look at the series of emotional decisions she made. She married a man she didn't know. This joker come through town, slick talking. You believe every word he said. You didn't ask. You took everything he said as gospel. And some of y'all women, you do the same thing. Well, meet a man on the internet tonight and invite him over to your house tonight. It just happened. This is December 2015. In November or December, the woman met the man on Facebook, invited him over to her house. The next thing you know, somebody find her bloody body. Getting involved with people you don't know. My grandmother did not know the Bowie family. She didn't know their background. She didn't know their culture. She didn't know things that they valued in life. See, sometimes in families and when in relationship, you need to make sure the person feels the same way as you do about certain issues. See, sometimes we think, oh, girl, I'm getting married. Is he saved? Oh, he got to be more than just saved, okay? He might be saved, but he might also be crazy. He might be saved, but he believe in spending all his paycheck on new church clothes. She might be saved, but she can't cook a can of biscuits. There are things you need to know before you marry the person. Okay? She married a man she didn't know. She didn't ask any questions. She didn't even tell her parents. See, when you got to sneak and do stuff, you're wrong. Unless you're planning a surprise birthday party. If you got to do stuff on the sneaky, you are wrong. Mattie, Bertha, Canton, you're wrong. Now you married a man, 10 years later, you got 4 children. He got a girlfriend, and your solution is to start fighting the man's girlfriend. Again, you're being led by your emotions. Anytime you're being led by your emotions, you don't stop to think how this decision could possibly affect others. Because you're too busy trying to have your way. You're too busy trying to get what you want. Who were the others in her life? She did not stop to think about. She stopped to think about her fiance. Oh, I ain't talked about everybody. I talked about everybody but him. She was engaged to a man. You ain't stopped to think about this man. How was he going to feel? You done married somebody and ran off and left him high and dry. You done stopped to think about the way his family was going to feel and the way your family going to feel. And between the Cantons and the Earls, my mama's people, and the McMichaels, there were a lot of marriages that took place between those two families. So now you just go up and run off, and you don't give a hoot about what his family is going to think or your family is going to think. She stopped to think about her children. What's the worst possible thing that could happen from this? When I get ready to go fight my husband's girlfriend, the worst possible thing that can happen is that she gonna pull out a gun and kill me. Or the story I heard today where the woman, the mistress, was messing around with the married man, and she rolling past the man's house and that kind of stuff, talking crazy to his wife, to the wife. Well, the wife made an emotional decision one day. This woman got in her face one too many times, and the wife shot and killed the mistress. Now the wife is still sitting in jail The mistress is in the graveyard, and after these two silly broads got through cutting up and nutting up with each other, neither one of them got the man. My grandmother did not stop to think about her children. All four of them ended up crazy. Crazy. When I say crazy, I'm talking about mental issues. They were able, thank God, to function in their dysfunction. You still got a problem. You still got unresolved mental issues. They're just like that functioning alcoholic at work, the person that you know is a drunk. They leave work, get drunk, drink 3 bottles of vodka straight, show up to work the next day, give them a column of numbers. They can add everything, won't be off by 1. They're able to function in their dysfunction. Y'all know some people on drugs. They can function in their dysfunction. You know people who get beat up, get jumped on. You might be that person, but you're able to leave home and function in your dysfunction. Thank God my mother's children turned out okay. My aunt's children, my uncle's children. Thank God we aren't crazy, because they could function in dysfunction. But you're still crazy. My grandmother didn't stop to think about her parents. If this woman kills you, now your parents have lost a child. It's one thing to lose a child. It's another thing to lose a child in such a horrible way. Something that could have been prevented. This did not have to happen. Grandma Mattie B didn't stop to think about her siblings. You got a sister. You got 3 brothers. And when your mother left there, and when she left Jasper, Texas, in the wee hours of December 4th, and she told her children and her dead daughter's children, we're not going to talk about this. How do you think they felt? And I'm even wondering right now, did her sister Vasti even know what happened? Her oldest sister? Did she even know the real story? What did they tell her? She was told, you don't talk about her. And my sister said to me on yesterday, she said, that explains why we went to the Canton reunion and nobody knew who we were. She said, when we met the girl from Dallas, those people from Dallas, and you were saying we are Mattie's grandchildren, they were looking at us as though to say, who the heck is Mattie? They didn't know who she was. And I'm just running my mouth, hey, how you doing? And I'm going on and on and on. But my sister realized yesterday, they had no idea who we were. I'm Facebook friends with them. Cynthia Thomas, Rudy Thomas. I bet you $5 they have no idea that their grandmother had a sister. I bet you they never knew. Now you see why my sister and I started doing the conferences, Silly Women, the conference. You can visit our website, SillyWomen.info. This is why we are so hard on women. People don't understand our mission, but we have lived this. We have seen the results of what happens when you make an emotional decision, you make a stupid decision, you don't stop to think about who it can affect. Okay, let's back up. Tell you this real quick. They leave Jasper. They're in the car, going back to Geneva. Long drive. Was it quiet in the car? Or was Grandma Lula still talking to the children and still telling the children, we're not talking about this. When you get home, when we go back home, don't you say nothing. Did she shelter the children? Did she keep the children at home? How did she do it? Well, I'm on a mission of my own now. I done got nosy. I called one cousin yesterday. Then I called another cousin who's in her 60s, but she was real close to her grandmother, and her grandmother told her all the Geneva history. So now, the cousin who's in her 60s, she knows all the grandma's information, but she knows everything from 2 generations earlier. And when I asked about my grandmother, she said, no, I never heard about her. Okay, there's another cousin I go to, because I'm now, I do all the family history. Cousin Reggie Lee Cotton. He know everything. I just called him, because I'm nosy now. I'm on my own quest. I said, hey, Cousin Reggie Lee. He said, hey, I'm down here at the VA hospital. I said, okay, I got a real quick question for you, Reggie Lee. I said, Reggie Lee, did you ever hear tell of my grandmother, Mattie Canton, the daughter of Dick and Lula Canton? He said, no. He said, wait a minute. You talking about Tud Canton, R.D., and Bill? I said, yes. I said, they had a sister. He said, no. He said, wait a minute. I'm trying to think about it. Okay, I got my notes right here. See, I'm going to read these notes. I'm trying to think about it. Let me say this. I remember that your mama, Helen, Jewel, Maxon, and there was another brother. The four of them, something happened to their mother, and they came to Sabine and went to school. Helen, W.M., Maxon, and Jewel, that's what it was. I was a little boy, but I remembered when they came to school. Something happened to their mother. I said, Cousin Reggie Lee, did you ever hear what happened to their mother? He said, no. I just know that something happened to their mother. And I never heard the old folks say what it was. He said, the old folks talked and little children couldn't be around listening to them. They would put you out. You couldn't hang around and listen to them talk. And you sure didn't do like these kids nowadays and jump in and say, no, Mom, it didn't happen like that. You wouldn't have no teeth in your head. But something happened. He said, sometimes you go in, pretend like you're getting a cup of water, and you can hear the old folk talk. But I never heard them say nothing about Helen, Jewel, Maxon, and W.M.'s mother. How is your husband? He had a knee operation, didn't he? And that was the end of that. He went on to another story. But can you see how well his memory is? My husband had a knee operation back in April. This is December. The man's mind is sharp. And all he remembers about my grandmother, about my mother rather, is that something happened to their mother. Grandma Lula shut that mess down. She shut it down. Okay, come back tomorrow. We're going to talk about Mama. We're going into therapy. And that's how we began to search for answers about her mother's death. Boy, we had to do some searching. And we had to do some digging. Come back tomorrow. Day 228. Life according to YoBo. See ya.